there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia, and my channel is called Sonia with an I. If you are a subscriber or a fan, thank you so much for being here. If you're new, please make sure that you like and subscribe. Support is free and greatly appreciated. Today I'm bringing you my January reads. I had a wonderful reading month this month, even though I read a little less than I normally do. I read 6 books this month, and I'm very proud of that. And they were all cozy mysteries. So I can tell that it is the winter season, and I am wintering because I am reading these cozy books that make me just want to grab a blanket and something warm to drink and just snuggle up and read them. So here, I'll go ahead and share what I read. The first book that I read in January was Flat White Fatality by Emmaline Duncan. This book is a cozy mystery. It is the, I want to say, third in the series. It is about Sage, who is a coffee truck owner, and she lives in Portland, Oregon, which I love. Portland, Oregon is on my bucket list. I want to go to Powell's. I absolutely love that this mystery has a big city instead of a small town, which you don't usually get in cozy mysteries. I also love that she isn't dating the police officer. It's actually her father that's the police officer. Her mother is a known felon. She's a criminal, and she grew up with her mother teaching her how to pick pockets and manipulate people, and she doesn't want anything to do with that. So she starts her own coffee truck with her best friend. Her best friend is kind of the artsy, creative one, and she's kind of the business sense. And I really loved the first couple books. I gave them both 4 stars. I really enjoyed them. Then I read Flat White Fatality, and it sort of fell flat. No pun intended. All of the things that I love about this series, it was out of there. It wasn't in this book. Very little food truck talk or action going on in the coffee truck. It takes place in her boyfriend's business office, basically. There is her dad, very little bit of her dad is in the story. There's hardly any mention of her mother. There's not a lot of coffee making. All the things that I like, the whole keep Portland weird sort of vibe that I'm here for. It's sort of in there a little bit, but I don't know. This one just, as I said, not to make a pun, but it just sort of fell flat. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I don't know if I will continue the series. There are so many other books that I want to read, and this one sort of just disappointed me. It kind of hurt my heart. I was enjoying it so much, and then it just kind of went, So yeah, it's kind of a bummer when your first book is disappointing, but I will say the second book that I read was Hammers and Homicide by Paula Charles. This book is the first in the series, and it did not disappoint. It was fantastic. It is about Donna. Donna is in her 60s, so a little older character. Not that I think 60 is old, and the closer I get to it, the less I think it is. But Donna is an owner of a hardware store. She and her husband owned it, and he passed away. So our poor heroines, who were always seem to be widows. But her husband passed away, and she is continuing to run this hardware store. The hardware store is kind of unique in this small town because it is also connected to a dress shop. And the dress shop and the hardware store share a bathroom. I thought that was kind of unique. I loved that the main character is older and her daughter is a part of the story. And there is a good daughter-mother dynamic where the investigation kind of falls through together. I will say that I figured out who the murderer was pretty early, but I don't usually fault books for that. I just like to think maybe I'm a good sleuth. Who knows? Anyway, I did really enjoy it. One of my favorite things about this book was that there was all the older gentlemen who were friends with her husband, who shop at the hardware store. They have a coffee pot and coffee cups, and they come in and have kind of like a coffee clatch. I think that is so funny. Very unique series. It is a little bit paranormal, but it's like somebody took the paranormal wand and went boop, and that's it. There really is not a whole lot of paranormal. So if you don't like paranormal or you like paranormal light, you will really enjoy this. She smells her husband's scent in the house, and then she talks to him like he's there. But he doesn't, like, there's nothing floating. There's not a ghost moment or anything like that. It's really a cute story. I gave this one 4.5 stars, 4.5 stars. I really thought it was a fantastic first book. I will definitely continue the second one. So if you are looking for a cozy that has an older sleuth with some family tie, I'd go for it. The whole reason that I picked this up was because Tiffany from Beach Bum Bookworm interviewed Paula Charles, and she was delightful. And her talking about her story and her inspiration behind the story just really made me want to read it. I love stories that are inspired by real life people. You could tell that, like, her Grammy and her Grampy were part of this story for her. I really loved that part of it. So I raced to pick it up. I read it and I loved it. So definitely a winner. The third book that I read in January was Getting Old is Murder by Rita Rankin. I believe that is correct. This is the Gladdy Gold series. This was highly recommended by my friend Tiff. You might get sick of me talking about her, but I love her, and she really has done a great job sending me some great books. Also, Amy Marie, her YouTube channel, she read this book as well, and she raved about it. She gave it 5 stars, and she loved it. So this is Gladdy Gold, and Gladdy Gold moves to Florida to this retirement facility, Lanai Gardens. I love Lanai. It reminds me of Golden Girls. And it's basically just this retirement facility. She's friends with all the ladies there. She moved there because her sister was there, and her sister is kind of going through some things, like her husband left her and whatnot. But there are some murders that start to go down in this facility, and Gladdy is on the case. Now, I will tell you, I tabbed how many times I laughed out loud while reading this book, and it was great. It really was. When she takes the ladies shopping, I was laughing out loud. It's one of those situations. I'm glad it's not me, but it certainly was funny to me too. So I gave this book 5 stars, and 5 stars for a first read really means it's awesome for me. If you are looking for a light, humorous, but I mean, the murder is not real light. This is not a fluffy cozy. This book was written in the mid-2000s, so it's really written before the fluffy cozy kind of came along, or that was so popular. But it's not super gritty, but there's a little bit there. But it isn't gory or anything like that. It's still kind of considered that cozy. If you like a good humor, though, this is the book for you. The next book that I read was Survival of the Fritters by Ginger Bolton. And then I also read Goodbye Crueler World by Ginger Bolton. So that is 1 and 2. This book is about the main character. She is also a widow, but she's a very young widow. She's only in her 20s. Her husband was killed in the line of duty. Her husband was a police officer. And she and her father-in-law, a way to deal with their grief, started making donuts. And they decided to open up a donut shop that they call Deputy Donut. Deputy Donut is also the name of her cat. And if you love cats, the cat in this story has a lot of screen time. The main character is very ambitious. She has a good sense of humor. She drives, my favorite part of this is she drives an old vintage police car, but instead of having the cherries or the lights on the top, it's a donut that lights up. I would love to see this. I want to go to Deputy Donut. There are lots of descriptions of the donuts. There are lots of descriptions. Ginger Bolton does a phenomenal job of describing and setting a scene. She describes everything from the color of the curtains and the color of the walls, and I just love it. I love to feel like that I am sitting in that room with them when they're having that discussion. She does a great job at that. I will say there is a lot of dating talk. They're in their 20s, that there's a lot of that. She's always trying to fix up her friends, and apparently only good-looking guys go to the donut shop, and there's a lot of that. She continually says, well, I don't want to date, I don't want to date, I don't want to date. Yet every guy that meets her flirts with her and asks her out, and she must be this incredible beauty, and she flirts back, but then she's like, oh no, it's what you go through when you're that age. I don't care for it, but I don't mind reading it because everything else is really good. She has a couple of best friends, and they I like their chatter, and they have fun, and it's just a really cute, solid, cozy. I've given both of these 4 stars. I plan to continue it. It is, if you're a member of Audible, it is free on Audible. So that was one of the reasons, honestly, why I started it. In the covers. My goodness, can you see these covers? The covers are just so darn cute. I love how cute the cat is. The cat is named Deputy Donut, so Deputy is what they call him, or her. I think she's a her. Anyway, good book series. It's solid. I will definitely continue it. It is a 4-star. My last book that I actually am not quite finished with this one, but I went ahead and put it in January because I know what I'm going to rate it. It is Susan Witting Albert, The Tale of Briar Bank, the Cottage Tales of Beatrix Potter series. This is number 5 in the series. It is winter time. There's snow on the ground. Beatrix goes back to Hilltop Farm because she is her mother is kind of overwhelming, and she wants to stay there instead of going back to the city because she just loves being connected to her farm and the people in the community. And there's some drama in the community. Someone has died, and there's some treasure that kind of goes along with it. Now, I will say that these books, you don't always deal with a murder. Sometimes it is, there was one book that had to do with a lost child. There was another book that had to do with a dishonest marriage. So it's not always murder, which sometimes I like. I don't mind a mystery that doesn't have a murder. I just like the mystery. And this is one of my soon coming favorite series. I absolutely love it. It is absolutely cozy, and it allows the animals to do some of the murder solving, and you can hear the animals talking and their thoughts and what they have to say about the people and the activities that are going on. And the animals that are in the book are the animals that Beatrix Potter portrays in her books. So Ginger and Pickles is in this book, in this number 5 book, The Briar Bank. They are in this a lot. And one of them had Jemima Puddle Duck. So it's all of the Beatrix Potter animals, along with some other animals in the nice little village as well. I want to go to Beatrix Potter's home and see Hilltop Farm because she was a conservationist. She bought Hilltop Farm, and then she bought many other farms because she firmly believed that she wanted to keep the farmland as it was and keep everything as it was, instead of allowing realtors to come in and buy up all this land and put a bunch of vacation houses for just, she just didn't want that. She was very much an environmentalist. So there's a lot of that thought in there too. I love the way the story is told in this book. If you listen to it, the narrator does a phenomenal job, but it's like conversation. It's not really, she'll say, now that we've learned about this, let's go back and see what's going on with this. And I love that. I love that conversational tone, and I'm sure that it has some sort of title or name, but I'm not sure of it. I just know I like it. So those were my 6 books that I read in January. How was your reading month? Did you have a good one? What was your favorite read? Have you read any of these books? Let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, since January is kind of a cold and chilly month, leave me a snowflake. I'd love to see that, and I'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe. Support is absolutely free and greatly appreciated. Happy reading. Goodbye.